Hey now, welcome to another edition of Refreshing Thoughts. I'm your host, Chris Fresh. I'm here to talk toys, geeky stuff, whatever takes my interest and hopefully catches your interest. I am here today to talk about wrestling figures. Talk about wrestling figures quite a bit. I work in professional wrestling. Wrestle Rock is one of the promotions I work for in Renegades of Wrestling. I've worked in wrestling for 25 years, but have been a lifelong fan of the business, as so many people seem to call it here and probably abroad. And wrestling figures are one of my passions. If you enjoyed the intro music, it is by The Shine. The Shine Worldwide can be found where all good rock and roll is found. And if you want to support my channel, I have a Patreon where for $5 Australian a month, which is about 50 cents US, patreon.com/refreshing thoughts podcast/membership. You can help me out, or you can just click like and subscribe. That would be fantastic. But let's get into the topic at hand. I've talked about retro figures quite a bit on this channel this year, and what I'm referring to when I do is the Hasbro style figures. Being Christmas, here's a Santa Hasbro style figure by Grapplers and Gimmicks, the Hustle Man, Mitch, and they have dominated the sort of the retro market for a long time now. Mattel started doing them, and then you've got Zombie Sailor, you've got figure collections, you've got Epic, you've got Grapplers and Gimmicks. Like everybody, Tyler Run Toys, everybody seems to be throwing their hat into what I think we have all come to the conclusion is an oversaturated market. And a lot of this was born out of the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. A podcast I am a Patreon of. I listen to weekly. It's hosted by Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, and Smart Mark Sterling. I've listened to every single episode that they have done, depending on the Patreon tier. And it's fantastic. And while I was a collector, it was awesome for me to hear other people who collect forget the fact that, they're wrestling stars. They're collectors like the rest of us. And I have really enjoyed their banter about wrestling figures. And what they did was help a lot of people that perhaps had lost connection with collecting wrestling find that connection again. So, I know a lot of people bitch them out and everything, but you won't hear me do that. I really enjoy the show. It's one of my favorite now watches. I watch the video version of the show as opposed to just listening like I did in the beginning. It's one of my favorite things every week. It's a good time. And they started merchandising their show, as many places do. They did pins, they did 8x10s. Then they sort of got into AWA Remco style figures, and then they did Major Bendies, and that had evolved into this. Now, these were the first two that I ever got, and they are, if you've ever heard of them, Big Rubber Guys, and they are these style figures. Now, this is version 1 of Demolition Axe and Smash. Now, what's an LJN? I hear you ask, because that's probably an important topic. And I'm going to show you a figure that, even if you're not a wrestling fan, you will know. This is a 1984, 85. It's probably printed on his trunks. Titan Sports, don't have glasses. I can't see. Around then. These were the first wrestling figures of note. There were the AWA Remcos, there were the Popey figures in Japan, there was a model kit in Japan of Hogan himself. Wrestling figures did exist, but these were the first ones that really took over the world. Big rubber figures, solid boys. All of you have probably come across an LJN in some shape or form. This one's probably the most iconic. It's Hulk Hogan. So that format had been attempted by numerous companies over the years and never done well. You had the San Francisco toy makers try their version of them for WCW. Jax tried their version for WWE. You then had I believe it was Chalkline. I'm happy to be corrected if I'm wrong. They actually had the rights to the LJN name for a while, and they did a version of the Young Bucks. You then had AEW try their version through Jazzwares, and none of them felt right. They didn't have weight to them. They didn't feel right. And then Major bought these out, and it changed the game. Now, we're going to go on a journey here. When these came out, they were some of my favorite figures I owned, even though I always hated the paint job on Axe's eyes. I know some people said it didn't bother them, but I didn't love it. Smash, I thought he was pretty good. But Demolition, perhaps my favorite tag team as a kid. I did like the Heart Foundation. I liked the Bulldogs. But Demolition were it. That theme song was incredible. It's funny though, I don't like Kiss when clearly, they're heavily based on Kiss. But I just loved the gear, the face paint. I was a big Ultimate Warrior fan. Demolition and the Warrior sort of felt hand in hand. So yeah, when these came out, it was just amazing. And they have really expanded their line. And what they've been able to do is guys that aren't under a Legends deal, they've been able to get. So, they've done the British Bulldogs. They've done the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. They did Andre the Giant. They've done Macho Man. Their Macho Man is incredible. I should have brought him in to show him off. But, they've done so many cool characters. And I was just like, they're bringing out the best versions of these guys. Now, they're not cheap. They landed about 50 USD. And once you add shipping to Australia, it's about $8 million a figure. But, if you wanted to collect this form, worth the money. Worth the money. And something curious happened this year. Mattel announced, well, Major had sort of talked about, like, they called their line the Big Rubber Guys, which makes sense because you connect straight away. You know what they're talking about if you're a wrestling fan. But, the LJN name came up for grabs, and they were asked if they want to bid for it. And I don't think they particularly wanted to get into a bidding war for it. Forgive me if I get the story wrong. But what they didn't know at the time, I believe, was the other bidder for the name was TKO, which is the parent company of WWE and UFC. So they weren't winning that war. And the name was purchased because we would refer to them as LJNs, like we refer to retro style figures as Hasbro's, AWA figures as Remco's, WCW figures as Galoob's. Then you've got Toy Biz WCW and original San Francisco Toy Maker. You just refer to sort of the brand when you're talking about wrestling figures. Jack's figures, Mattel figures. So now they had the rights to LJN, and they announced that they were going to bring the form factor back. And then, very hard to get in Australia. They are not out in Australia. They are a Target exclusive in America. They announced this, the return of LJNs. Now, I had mixed feelings about doing a straight reissue of an LJN that existed. A part of me sort of hoped, and I'm pretty sure they're going to get there because it seems like the reaction's been positive, that they did a Winged Eagle belt or something to make it a little bit different. But, I haven't opened it yet because I got the black carded version. Now, to collectors, you might not know this, but the original carding for an LJN was blue. But the later in line figures, particularly by Grand Toys, stuff, they're LJNs, don't listen to D Freedom. They came on a black card, and to collectors, it was like, that's really cool. So I thought what was really awesome of Mattel was they've done chase versions that are on black cards, and the originals are on blue cards and stuff. But you pick this up, like I have not. You can see there's a John Cena, Logan Paul, gross, Dusty Rhodes, and Hulk Hogan. Curiously, like calling them WWE Superstars and not putting wrestling superstars on there. I guess getting the branding on there. Just for a note, just for prosperity's sake, I hate the block logo. Hate it. I love the original vintage logo. This company has enough money. Surely you can buy the rights to get that logo back. I I just don't like the chopping the F off. It's not, and if you, especially if you're doing a retro thing, like I just don't like it. I get the F in. Anyway, so they announced they were going to do this, and at a decent expense, I've imported these. Got them on eBay. It was a price I was willing to pay. Maybe they'll turn up here. I don't know. We're getting all sorts of wrestling figures here. I'm currently on the hunt for Legend Series 30 that's turned up on the shelves at Kmart, and I needs me that Steve Austin and especially the Jesse the Body Ventura. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about these. So just to show you, when I say it's a one-for-one recreation, sorry, his belt's a bit crooked. This is the original vintage Hulk Hogan. I haven't opened it because of it's the Black Series, like that's pretty much it. That's him, I don't know if that's showing on camera very well, but they're exactly the same figure pretty much. Slight paint difference, perhaps. Belt looks nice and shiny. Comes with a poster inside that I believe is smaller than the LJN poster, but that's fine. That's a cool little bonus. You don't need it. But what a world that we live in, that really the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, they're the reason these exist. And I'm not slighting these. Like, I'm glad these exist too, because now we can get guys under WWE contract and Major can continue with the big rubber guys and continue to pump out guys that aren't under contract. I believe Mick Foley may come up soon in one of the most rad moves possible. But I got another LJN. I also haven't opened him because he looks too cool in packet. I don't know what to do. And I've got some LJNs. I've got the cage and the vintage ring and everything like that. I got close-ish to completing the set, and then I was like, I'm never going to be able to complete this set, and I sold off a lot of my LJNs. I've kept some that are significant to me, ones I had as a kid and stuff like that, but I've sold off a lot of mine. I kept the Hart Foundation, Hogan, Savage, and Liz, Piper, and stuff, but a lot are gone. But this Dusty Rhodes in the polka dots with the hat. Now, interestingly enough, Big Rubber Guys did a Dusty Rhodes. I believe they may even be sharing a factory these days. But when I got this in, I want to talk about this because I was going to record a Refreshing Thoughts. And it was going to be a little different than the one I'm recording right now. And let me explain why. See this Dusty Rhodes? That face and that look is pretty amazing, isn't it? Like, it just looks like the dream daddy. Everybody's got a Dusty impersonation. Mine's not particularly good. I just thought look at that. That's fantastic. Look at that card. Look at that. It's just amazing. And then I got a great expense, more than what I paid to get the LJNs in. Because I had to get them from the Big Bad Toy Store, and they charge an arm and a leg for postage. But so, unfortunately, it's just the world. Like, international postage is expensive. I got the Brainbusters, Arn and Tully. Now, I think these figures are great. If I didn't see that Dusty Rhodes, I'd go, these are incredible. But they look kind of basic compared to the Dusty. The Demolition look a little basic compared to the Dusty. And I got these, and I love them. I think they're cool. But I kind of felt that maybe Collect Major, the Big Rubber Guys, have been usurped. And that the LJNs were going to look better on the shelf next to these guys. Now, they all fit in together, but to me, the Dusty just looks better. My personal opinion, and that's that of a critic. I'm happy I own these. Don't get me wrong. I'll continue to get certain Big Rubber Guys as they come out. But I just thought that Dusty, is amazing. And Major announced a little while ago that they were doing a new version of Demolition, which I was a little dirty on, but they said they were releasing Crush with them, and you could have just got Crush, I guess, but or you can get all three. Because I love Crush. I've talked about it on here. I'm a Bryan Adams mark. No, not the singer, the wrestler. I don't know why. He's one of my guilty pleasures. Crush is awesome. And when they said that, and just as I was about to record my Major's in trouble, they cost more than the LJNs, maybe look a little dulled down, I got the new Demolition. And, let's start with, before I get to Crush, let's start with Axe and Smash, right? So this is how you saw the LJN packaging. Big Rubber guys come in a little different. They come in like this. And I saw these and went, holy shit. Like, they have upped their game. Like, these are so much better than the original Demolition. It is not funny. Like, these are incredible. Like, and I'm going to do what many consider heresy. Now, one advantage some people would say to the Big Rubber guys is resealable packaging. Now, this gives you a bit of a look of who they've got under contract. Now, on the back of there, who I own Ric Flair. He comes with a Big Rubber belt. Big Rubber belt, really disappointing. Broke immediately. Just couldn't be bothered chasing it up. I've got the Road Warriors, which are awesome. I've got both versions of Road Warriors. I've got that Randy Savage, but in the orange. They're Dusty Roads. The Macho King, my friend Boost got in for me, and I haven't seen Boost in about months and months and months where we could exchange it. So I'm still waiting to get my Macho King. But let's open. Just so you can see, it just sort of pops and slides. Hopefully the internet's not crapping out on me, and I'm doing an unboxing where I'm freezing every 10 seconds. But I am recording on a Friday evening when it's prime internet time. Now, this is Smash. Look at that. Comes with his mask. Pops on like that. Look at that. I'm just going to take that off. Now, it is just night and day. Night and day. Like that. Like they didn't get the... Did they not have the tap? I guess it was covered. Like it... This Smash makes me so happy. Like, it is so much better. So what I'm going to do, keep an eye out on eBay. I'm selling my original Demolition because, this is all the Smash I need. So let's check out a bit of Edie. Not nice hair, Bill Edie, as people love talking about, where Demolition Axe had nice hair at one of their last appearances, which does make me laugh. Demolition back under WWE contract. Hopefully they make it into the Hall of Fame because they deserve it. Demolition are incredible. Axe out of his packet. Whew. That is so nice. Like that. Look at that. That Demolition. Whoa. Yes. Like, so I've got to compare. Like, it's not even. Look at the eyes. It's like a child made this axe compared to the new axe. He sort of sounds like that axe. The tongue out. Like, it's just incredible, the upgrade. So the burial of Major not coming. They're alive and kicking, and game on, LJN. Game on. Because, like, this is fantastic. Like, it makes me happy. And that's why I love talking about. Let's try Axe with the mask on. Collecting making me happy. Toys making me happy. It's why we're here. I want to talk about this with friends. I don't have friends here to talk about this at the moment. So you're the friends I'm talking about, because toy friends are the best friends, as I love saying on here. I know it sounds lame and corny, but they really are. These make me happy, but let's tip me over the edge. Let's bring in a bit of Crush, a little bit of Crush. There's been a whole lot of Crush collectibles coming everywhere. The figure collections crowd, the Hasbro, fantastic. Or the retro. It's just like, if you're a Brian Adams connoisseur like I am, like we're in the golden age of Brian Adams wrestling figures. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. That Crush, like Demolition Crush. I remember when he joined Demolition, I was like, oh, they've got somebody that's big and bad. And like, how's anybody going to beat him? And this Demolition can't be stopped. And then they lost to the Hart Foundation at SummerSlam 90 in an incredible 2 out of 3 falls match. Highly recommend you go find it on YouTube and watch it. But then I was like, what happened to Demolition? Like, one minute they were beating a Colossal Connection at Mania 6. Next minute, they're heels, back with Fuge for Stooge. Like, Crush is in there. It was very confusing for a young man because we didn't get all the television at that time in Australia. But Dusty Rhodes and Hogan are cool. But these are my favorite figures in this format. Like, this is incredible. I've got to put Crush in the middle. Like, it feels like they're endorsing him. I used to, in my head, you know, some people would play with figures and some people were there. I used to do this weird thing where I'd twist my hair and just imagine wrestling storylines and stuff. I wonder if that's what helped me become a booker later in life. But I'd always have Crush be this unstoppable force that would go up and become world champion. I don't know why I didn't do it with toys. I just used to like imagining. I had a very strong mind camera. And yeah, and it was just like, yeah, the face paint and everything. And I remember when he turned heel on Macho Man in his singles run, and he went back to the face paint and had the goatee and stuff. And it was just, he's just badass. Just a badass big man. These are fantastic. Fantastic. Mwah. Kissing a lot of figures on this show lately. Well, that's what I'm going to do. What are you going to do? Stop me? These are fantastic. We're in an incredible age where you can walk in to Target in America, hopefully one day retail here in Australia, and see these on the shelves. I would freak out if I saw the, like, it's just incredible. Like, the fact retail is taking these on to take up that shelf space. Woo! Good times. Good times. The rubber wars have begun and the winners are us. You don't have to pick a side. Buy what you want from each line. You know, before you bitch out Collect Major and the Major Wrestling Figure podcast about being too expensive, they're a small company with a small footprint. They're not Mattel. Like, you know, it's just going to cost more for them to get licensing, to produce things and do that. But when they're pumping out stuff like that Demolition, money well spent. Like, you know, I've got the Nasty Boys on pre-order. Like, there's some cool stuff coming out. Like, they've been doing the best tag team stuff. Like, if Nasty Boys are coming out of a new factory, I can't wait to see how good they look. Like, it's just amazing. Like, their journey from where they started to where they are now, it's just amazing. Oh, and if they do a Cactus Jack, like, oh, he doesn't fit into the era, but I don't care. It's just going to be a cool figure. So yeah, where do you stand on this? Are you nostalgic for LJNs? Let's just call them that for lack of a better term, big rubber guys, whatever you want to do. You know, does this form factor interest you? Is it something you're not going to start in on? Are you a Hasbro person? Are you just into sort of Mattel with their Legends lines and stuff like that, giving you these characters? What do you think? I'm telling you, just when I think I'm out, they suck me back in. But yeah, thank you for checking out the episode. I hope you had fun with it. Collect Major, collect Mattel. It's all good. If it makes you feel good, go out, buy it, enjoy it, because there's awesome wrestling figures coming out at the moment. And it's tough to keep up with when you collect everything else like me. I'm a maniac. Yeah, click like on the video. Leave your comments. I love hearing from you. Support. I'm over 200 subscribers, which to many people means nothing. But if you had told me when I started this channel that that's where I'd be at by the end of the year, I wouldn't have believed it. You know, I thought this is going to be a slow burn and a slow build. But yeah, everybody's been spreading the word. I appreciate it. Thank you. And yeah, I can't wait to talk to you in a little while.